Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February regular meeting of the Historic District Commission. I'm Tim Dowen and I'm the chairman. Please note this meeting is being recorded. If you're not speaking, please have yourself on mute to prevent any background noise. Our meeting tonight is broken up into two sections, the public hearing and the regular meeting. The public hearing is the opportunity for the applicants to present their application, for the commission members to ask questions. Once that public hearing closes, the regular meeting begins. And in the regular meeting, it's where the commission discusses and votes on those applications. Applicants can stay and listen to the regular meeting, but they're not permitted to speak or provide more information regarding the application at that time. So please, if you have your presentations or anything to say, try to get it in that public hearing section. It's not required that the applicant stay during the regular meeting. We're not going to hold it against you if you need to skip out to any other meeting. So we will provide a written notification of our decisions the next business day. So thank you. Any questions?
No.
Hearing none. We will go on into the public hearing COAs. We have two COAs on the agenda today. 541 is for 370 Washington Street, Carrie Booth, but I'm not sure I see a representative for Carrie. Is that correct? For 380 Washington Street?
No.
And since we don't, then I'm going to take liberty and move on to COA 542. We will go back to discuss 541 as the documents that were presented. So, but since Linda and James are here for 385 Washington Street, this is for restoration of a roof. And I will open the floor for either James or Linda to make their presentation.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we just wanted to strip the roof down and re-roof it. Somewhere along the lines, the paperwork got misplaced or not where it was supposed to be, but we've already done the roof. We stripped it down, we installed plywood, and we installed the same color shingle that's on the residence, and that was on half of the existing structure. So we need to get the permit for the roof that already has been done.
And the roof was for the barn or for the house? I'm a little confused in the paperwork of.
It was for the barn.
The barn.
Correct.
And so the work was already done. There was also something that was sent talking about whack-a-mole and third floor leaks. Is that from the house or is that still the barn?
That's the main house.
Main house.
Correct.
So
Which he's done some repair, just the leaks.
Yeah, on the main house, all we did was put new flashing on the chimney. There was really no substantial work done there. It was just a repair of new flashing on the chimney.
Okay. And so this COA is for work that's already been done on the barn. There's no other work that you're proposing to do?
No.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? I don't see any pictures on this COA. Am I missing the pictures?
Oh, yeah. Lots of pictures.
No, on this one.
On 385
542,
Washington?
Either.
No, this one is for 385 Washington Street. I took these out.
85. Okay.
So this is COA 542. So it's the COA and the description down below of the like for like asphalt shingles being replaced on the barn.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And since just for for note, the other work also would have been needed a COA if you were doing work on the main building, even if it was just the flashing for the chimney. Understand that leaks, we want to try to address those quickly when you're in inclement weather. So this, I don't know if you wanted to say something about, hey, you're hoping to administratively get this flashing done through this COA also. I'm not sure. I don't want to lead the horse here.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes through the same, that's fine. If not, I can apply again, but like I said, it was leaking and they were getting interior damage, so, you know, I went up there and I changed the flashing on the chimney. It wasn't a big job. I wasn't aware that we needed to file for the chimney repair as we would a bigger job, you know?
Yeah. And there's no other work, all the leaks are taken care of, all the leaks that were whack-a-mole third floor were caused by the chimney flashing?
Correct.
Okay. What'd you use for materials for the flashing? Is it lead? kind of-
Lead flashing. Yep. Same thing that was there.
Okay. Other questions from the commission? All right,
Questions?
go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you, Greg, was that?
I
you
said no
saying-
questions.
No questions. I'm sorry.
I'm going on mute.
All
Sorry.
right. All right. Hearing no questions, so no further questions. Thank you, James and Linda. Again, we will discuss this in our regular meeting. And we will get back to you if you certainly willing to stay on and listen to our actions here later on. So that means we will step back to COA 541. This is 380 Washington Street booth. I have not seen.
They're here, Tim.
Oh, they
showed-
are. There they are. Okay.
They showed up.
Sorry.
Yeah, you guys are, please welcome to join us.
Yes.
Just sit over there in the corner. Join us at the table.
Hi, thank you, thank you.
Everybody, I'm Tyler
Welcome.
Booth. Hi.
I'm Carrie Booth.
Nice.
Nice to meet you all.
Guys, I'm Regan.
Regan.
I'm Regan Dane.
Dane.
And that's Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Okay, good. So welcome here. Not sure where you popped in on that discussion earlier here.
The
So
middle of the other discussion of the application, so they missed kind of the overview, Tim.
okay, so again, this is our public hearing meeting. This is where you get to present your proposal, and we will ask some questions. When we get done with this, we go into our regular meeting. At that point, you're welcome to stay and listen to our deliberations. You, though, can't add anything more to the thing. So make sure that you will present anything that you would like here beforehand. And tomorrow there'll be a written notice at least of what our actions were. So you'll know what the result is, but you can stay or leave at your convenience.
Okay, thank
So-
you.
So I'm going to then give the floor to you, and we'll listen to COA 541. This is 380 Washington Street, the Lathrop Manor. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi. So how much of the documentation in the email has been reviewed? I just don't want to cover things that you already know.
So we sent that out for everyone. I'm hoping everyone read this beforehand. So we had the PowerPoint presentation here and discussing the proposed work on both the carriage house, and while you had the estimates and this, I believe this work is just for the back quarter of the where the wood shingles are in the back. looks like above a bathtub
Yeah.
area. And above that, I guess there was a couple windows. So
Yeah.
that's basically what this, my understanding reading is being covered here on this COA.
Yep, that is a correct understanding. I know there was a lot of information there, so thank you so much for sorting through it all. Yeah, so we just purchased the home in October and absolutely love it. But we knew that it was a foreclosure, and with a foreclosure comes, happy surprises. So we
Sometimes not so happy surprises.
um, upon moving in after like the first week, we saw some water leaking in, and so we instantly called. We knew that the roof was a little iffy. And we have since gotten some moss removed when insurance decided they didn't want to cover us because of the moss, how extensive it was on the roof. But since having the spray, the soft wash done and the chemical wash, it has now exposed some other problems. So one thing leads to another. As you know, I'm sure on historic houses, this is our first experience with that. So with that, we knew that the windows were leaking regardless. They just got worse once the moss was removed. So we figured this was something that we could hopefully wait on a little bit. But then as the moss was removed and it got worse, we're like, okay, this needs to be an action item now. And so we got some quotes, and when we asked if we could replace like with like for the cedar, he's like, yeah, to do we have a few people that we were working with, and one of them was like, yeah, it'll be like double your cost. And we're like, goodness gracious. So to do the whole roof, they're like 200,000. And we're like, oh, at that point, just get a new house. But no, that's not our plan. But he said we could do who we're working with is Harry Bledsoe, and he said that the other houses on the street have similar, which is like cedar shake look. And it's not like for like exactly, but it's like for similar updated version of that. So that's our hope to do that. And the work on the carriage house had already been started
and
stopped before we got there.
Yeah, we know.
So yeah, I figured you were aware of it.
Yeah.
So we would like, we covered that with a tarp for now, just to prevent water continuing to get in, but we know that that's going to need to be done as well. So we were hoping to do both at the same time.
Yeah, essentially the situation at this point right now is triage, trying to figure out exactly what's
Yeah.
going on and determine there so we can prevent any further damage. When we had the soft chemical wash, we didn't realize this, but lichen actually goes into the cedar shake. And so when you remove the lichen, it creates additional damage. So not only has the cedar shake been just worn down over time, but the chemical wash exposed the damage that the lichen had done. So you can actually see the tar paper underneath in a lot of spots. And there's a issue in one of the upstairs windows on the third floor that is causing the leak, like Carrie alluded to. And at this point, we've determined that the most bang for our buck, quite literally, is to fix this back corner, and then we can take the rest of the house as it comes and as we have the financial capabilities to do so.
So the windows, I think I read somewhere where it was 4 windows. So obviously the one above, you can see the damage. There was a picture of that. That's above the cedar shakes that you were preparing to or proposing to change or address, correct? And then is it the 3 windows that are around the bathtub? Are those damaged?
Yeah, so the 3 windows that are in like a bay section, there's 2 bay sections, actually 3 bay sections that have bare spots, and the 3 that are leaking on the second story that you'll see in the picture, yeah, it looks like a sink, counter sink. That we actually didn't get up on the roof, but the contractor said it's kind of the same situation that we're seeing on the lower bays as well. So those 3 are leaking in behind the gutter system because the roof doesn't quite go to the end of or like the shingles don't quite go to the end of the roof anymore. They just kind of drop off into now the water's leaking down the wall. So that's where some of it is. And then the picture where you actually see like visible damage, that's on the 3rd floor. And that's more in like a finished attic space. So I'm not sure. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, I'm
They're in 2 different locations.
two different
Yeah,
locations.
yeah.
But it's
But
all in the
all in that
same,
quarter.
in that quarter
Yes.
and corner of the, okay. All right. Questions from, or do you have more that you wanted to say here?
Just want to clarify something that you had said. The proposal that we're trying to do with the roof is not just the outcroppings of the bay windows. It's from our understanding that one of the ways to mitigate this water issue coming through is actually the back quadrant of the house. So it's actually going to be the top peak
Yeah.
going into the third floor, and then also the bay windows, the little outcroppings as well too. So
Okay.
that's what I just want to clarify that.
Okay, yep. All right,
Is this COA just for the roof, or does it include window replacement as well?
It's our understanding that right now, if we fix the roof, the water damage or the continued water damage will be mitigated at that point. So at some point later on, we'd probably look into windows, but you know,
No, so the windows, when I'm speaking with Harry, he said that it would be very challenging because they're very unique windows. I'm really trying to avoid replacing the windows just because they're so beautiful.
yeah,
It would more be, we'd have to probably replace maybe some like drywall or if it's
Mhm.
plaster damage, but I'd really love to preserve the windows on the interior. But again, that's long, more down the road.
right.
Right now, we're just trying to prevent the water from getting in, and I don't think it's made too much damage yet, but
Yeah.
we'll
Right.
see.
And I think the COA did have the checkbox for windows then,
Hmm.
so that was,
Oh, my
might have been
apologies.
for the skylights if it was a full
It
roof.
could have been.
So,
Yeah.
so in this case here, we're only talking about roof.
Yeah.
And it's from the third floor, it's in the back quarter. It's not on the side, or this is all in the back side. Okay.
Yes, it's all in the back. There are two bays on the side, but those have already been replaced recently with brand new cedar shakes. So we'll just leave those and not touch those until we then have the funds to do the rest of the roof. But those are in great shape and they're not leaking.
Okay, and then this is also for the carriage house. The proposals to do the work on that one to get rid of the tarp there. And again, what was being replaced was wooden shakes there, cedar shakes. And the previous owner had come in without saying anything to us and had tried to put that work in. When we saw that, we put a stop on it. They didn't have a permit, they didn't have anything. So that's where that ended up half done. So
Yep.
we've heard some interesting stories about the previous owner. So
How many hours do you
We-
have?
Yeah.
honestly, I would like to pick your
We
brain. one of these
know
days.
them all.
Okay.
It's bad.
Yeah.
You know, I think essentially what we really want the commission to know is we came into this home purchased knowing that there was going to be work. But with our love of history and just falling in love with the area, we recognize that the work is going to be long, it's going to be expensive, but we want to go ahead and do it. We want to bring the house back to the glory that we've seen in past pictures and just some of the research we've done. We want to do whatever we can. We want to work with this esteemed group and just continue to do what we can do to have the same beauty that has been there. And just in this, we recognize the fact that Washington Street continuously has everything updated, well kept, and we want to be part of that community.
Well, I will just say for my own personal opinion, I'm thrilled that it's privately owned once again. And you guys seem like wonderful people. So we're very happy that you're in the neighborhood. So welcome to Norwich and welcome to
Thank
the
you.
historic district. And like I said, just thrilled that it's now privately owned and just for two people versus multiple people. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Do we have any questions from the
Another question.
commission?
Great
it-
presentation.
It's a
Yeah.
huge roof and it's obviously a high cost. I mean, did you get any quotes on doing it with wood shingles and the same?
Yeah, so the general consensus that we got from the three people we got quotes from said you can basically anticipate doubling the price to do the wood versus the asphalt or fiberglass replacement. So anything, and all three have pretty much told us the same thing. Now their prices vary but they'll give us a price, like say it's 30,000 to do this back quadrant. He's like, give it 60,000 and you'll get that quarter done. And that's kind of been across the board with the other two people as well.
I know you had mentioned other houses in the neighborhood have asphalt shingles, but other houses also have the wood shingles. It's,
Yeah.
I can't say that just because one of them might have the asphalt shingles is a reason necessarily to that we would go away from the like for like on this, but we don't have any, because they have that is not a stepping stone, I guess, and automatic for any change in material.
Reagan, would there be grant opportunities for them, given the house and the cost?
You just read my mind, Greg, and I don't know if you noticed, I was gonna pass our lovely guests some
Thank
resources
you.
to review. And so one of the
Yeah.
things, I don't know if you guys have been aware of this program, but there is the Historic Homeowners Tax Credit Program. Have you heard of this before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like the 30% back on up to 100,000,
exactly.
starting
Yeah.
at 15,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've contacted the state and we've actually had some
Good.
meetings about the possibility of grants, just because we realize even if we were to do asphalt or cedar, it's a huge cost.
Mhm.
And we're hoping to defer some of it. So when it comes to actual grant monies to utilize to actually pay for the project itself, we're not eligible because we're not a nonprofit. We're
Right.
privately
Yeah.
owned, so that completely dismissed it too.
Mhm.
When it comes to the refund of the 30% tax credit, you still need to pay up front. And the tax credit comes back afterwards. The
Yeah.
cedar shake, we've just come to the realization it's financially not feasible, unfortunately, at this point. That's kind of where we're at right now. We want to make sure that we get the house back in order and prevent any further damage. And the cedar shake is just something that, I mean, just to be completely candid, we can't do.
I'm curious, and maybe I don't want to, dominate this meeting, and I know that you have other things to review, but I'm curious to know what the process, and this can be something sent to me in an email, but what the process was or has been for those houses that were switched from cedar at one point to what they are now, like the more modern version.
Mhm.
And if that's something that we could consider, or depending on how, this meeting goes, one way or the other. I'm just curious as to know that process too.
Yeah, I think some have done it illegally, to be quite honest with you, without our permission and without permits. And then, we get involved after the fact, frankly. Some have been changed prior to the commission even being formed. So
I
we were
see.
formed in the 60s, some roofs were
Oh.
changed over prior to that. So, and of course, we have no authority over what's been changed
Yep.
prior to us
Been
forming as a
grandfathered in.
commission.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
so that's how some of those have been grandfathered in. So typically what we prefer is, for existing materials to be replaced with like materials or in kind.
Mhm.
We do have a set of design guidelines that talk about, repairing cedar roofs whenever possible. If a replacement is necessary of a cedar roof, choose like materials. So that's something that we try to follow specifically within our design guidelines. And that's probably how we'll want to feel tonight. I can't speak on behalf of everybody else, but that's just how I'm feeling. I know that the house is one of the jewels of the historic district, frankly, and it's stunning. And like I said, I'm so grateful that you've got two young people here in the willing to, bring the house to its former glory. So, just based off of my feelings, I just have to go with what the design guidelines say. But I think that everybody here within the commission wants to figure out a solution that best fits your budget as well, and best, suits the house as well, and preserves its historic integrity. So I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts, but those are just mine that I wanted to share.
I'll continue off of that just by saying that in terms of historically significant properties, congratulations, you got number one.
Yeah, seriously.
And it does, and it comes with, believe me, we feel your challenges. Between my wife and I, we own or manage about half a dozen historic properties, and we've done probably 5 or 6 roofs.
Yeah, a couple of different roofs. So we understand.
So
the struggle.
we know where you're
Yeah.
coming from, as a homeowner, and as people, as for us because we run organizations, we get it.
Mhm.
It becomes problematic for us when we are when we are going against our own rules and against our own guidelines. I know you guys know that. I know you guys understand that. So, I don't know if there's anything else anybody else would like to add, but we really want to get you guys to the finish line
Yeah.
with this property. I'm being very
Thank you.
serious about that because it's a wonderful property. It's historically significant to the city, and we do want to help you guys get there. I don't know if this might involve talking to different contractors to see if we can come up with a better price. Maybe in this economy, with the way things have moved so quickly, I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we understand where you guys are coming from.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah,
Thank you.
Between this, how many roofs have we done?
A lot.
So-
Yeah.
So we get it. We get the struggle. You know, Dane and I would be happy to talk with you offline more about roofs. For context, I'm the executive director of the Norwich Historical Society, and Dane manages the Leffingwell House Museum.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
that's why I said we manage a lot of different properties in
Mhm,
town.
mhm.
So if anything, we could always chat with you guys offline
Sure.
about some of our experience with roofing projects and some of the contractors that we worked with. And you know, I have a lot of contacts with the state, so maybe we can still try to figure out some sort of solution that best fits the budget. And you know, hopefully would get you a tax credit because that would still be, you know, a win-win for you guys
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
wanna be
Yeah,
Thank
well, one
you.
way or another,
Yeah.
tax credits will always be on the table.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're always a great option. I realize that there's upfront cost, of course, but you know, at least you get a little something back in
Something
the
back,
long
yeah.
run.
Yeah.
But we want to help you guys. and
Thank
work
you.
with So that's where we stand at least.
Thank you.
All
Okay, do we
right.
ha- Do we have other questions from the commission?
I had one maybe slightly tangential question. Just curious, if you're going to operate it as a bed and breakfast like it was previously.
Greg, do you want to stay there?
It's a beautiful place. I walk by there all the time with my dogs.
Oh, knock on the door. Anyone, like truly anyone's welcome to knock on the door. We're happy to take you on a tour. But we considered it. I would love to run a business, but that's a whole nother animal for a different time, like a
Yeah.
whole nother thing.
Yeah.
With zoning and no, I would not run it as a bed and breakfast. I was thinking like a tea room out of the north wing parlor,
Mhm.
but that would have to be zoned that part commercial, and then it changes insurance and that's a whole thing. So it was a thought in my head when I bought it
Yeah.
to host like showers and catered events, and I do have the food licenses and you know the commercial permits and have an experience in that, but that might be a few years down the road.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
feel free to stop by anytime.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Last call for questions from the commission. And hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. And it's 5:59 and we'll open up whatever the other part of that meeting is called.
The regular meeting, Tim.
Yeah, the regular meeting, excuse me. All right, and so first agenda item on this is action on the COAs. So in this case,
Goodbye. No,
we
or
will
visitors.
take action. I'm entertaining a motion before we can discuss, I entertain a motion on COA 541, the one we just discussed here. This is 370 Washington Street.
380, Tim.
Oh, I'm sorry, 380,
380.
excuse me, 380.
The garage has a
Washington.
different address, I think. That could be. It's like weird.
No, I'm just a goofball and can't read. So, all right, do I have a motion on 380 Washington Street? We can't discuss it until I have a motion.
I'll move we approve the
Good move.
application.
Okay,
Nancy, a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
me,
Second by Greg Farlow. All right, open this up for discussion. No discussion.
I'm on the fence about it, Tim. I mean, it's kind of clearly against the guidelines in that the guidelines would say replace it with a wood shake roof. But I totally understand the other side of that, which is that's a huge financial cost. And if I was in their situation, I would probably be asking for the same thing.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I would mention one other thing. I know we've discussed it. So this is in the rear of the house.
Okay.
Public view is from the
Meadows.
Lothorpe Meadows. So
There's
it
the
Yeah.
is
barn.
visible, and the barn
Hmm.
is visible from from the street. So
Mm-hmm.
more discussion. Jake, I know you want to say something.
Well,
All right,
Just
Nancy.
getting called
well,
out.
it is designed to look like the wood shingles. And we're saying there are others on the street. Did we say that? Just like it?
I don't know about the fiberglass weave or asphalt cedar look. We
Hmm.
certainly have architectural shingles. In
Ye-
fact, my house has that, but right
Right.
next to me on 420, excuse me, is and for whatever Cal Edgar's house, that is Cedar
Mhm.
Shake. Dave Kindle, I know he did both of those houses. But
So would this be the first of its kind on the street then? In
Of
that
the-
sense?
of this shingle
85 Washington.
Of this,
of the Cedar Shake
material.
like material.
right.
I honestly don't know, Nancy.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I think in my opinion, at least, it would be easier if we could see what it looked like. I mean, to say that it looks similar is nice, but I would love to see what it looked like before that's just my feeling. It would be nice to see.
Jake, I agree with you. I'd love to
Thank
see
you.
the sample of, what
Yep.
the shingle would look like. If no one minds me holding the floor for a minute, because I
Sure.
really have been thinking about this since we've got it sent to us. And where I come from on this is that I said it before, this house is one of the most significant properties in the city of Norwich for its time period. It is in rough shape in many areas. And I know what's been done to that place. I've seen the pictures, I've heard the stories, all of us have heard it, all of us have seen it. And we thankfully have two people here that seem to be a universe away from where it was before. And I'm not thrilled about changing the material. I'm not it's out of compliance, and I don't want to be out of compliance. But at the end of the day, we either have the house or we don't. And I don't want to see the house fall into further disrepair, because the condition of that roof right now is terrible. And it's only going to get worse if something isn't done soon. Cost wise is that really does need to be a consideration in the discussion here, especially if we're talking about double the cost for a roof like this. It's just, that's unsustainable to me. And I'm coming from this as just a person, as just as a homeowner that could be in this situation. So
Yeah,
that's my piece.
Well, double the cost if it's a $5,000 job isn't as big a deal as if it's double the cost on $100,000 job. So yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
I do kind of agree with you, Dane, in that I think it's be much better to keep the house and have the house be maintained than to have us say, no, you have to replace the cedar shakes and on the roof, and they can't afford it, and nothing happens, and the house goes into further disrepair. I mean, that seems like a worse alternative.
One, I'd like to add to that the thing that they're suggesting is probably more durable in the weather and probably longer lasting than a cedar shake. Once again, my only concern with this isn't necessarily the material, it's how it's going to look. And I personally would just feel comfortable if I could see what one of the shingles looks like
Yeah,
in order to proceed.
Yeah, I echo that, Jake, because what we used to do prior to COVID, and forcing us all online, we used to have materials brought in to present to the commission. I remember sitting in different meetings with shingles brought in, other materials brought in.
I've been having those meetings.
I think in this, hang on, Greg, let me just finish and then I'll call on you. I think in this case, it would be really helpful to see what the difference would be between this proposed new shingle and what the cedar shingles would look like. And I think we have examples, Dane, behind the wall of the cedar shingle that we could bring in
Yep.
for a comparison. So that's just my feeling as well. So I echo everything Dane said. I don't disagree with anything you said. I'd like to work with the homeowners and I'd like to see the proposed shingle prior to approving it. So that's my feeling. Greg, go ahead. You had your mouth open.
Point of order. Is this open to the public, this part of the meeting?
This is
Where
the
we
regular,
No,
discuss it?
this is our regular meeting. This is,
Because the public is here.
yes, but our meetings are open to the public. The
Ah.
public hearing portion is closed, so they can't comment any further. But they
Okay,
can stay and listen like any other
thank you.
official meeting. Yeah.
Greg,
I was just gonna, I agree with Jake and with Regan, it'd be nice to see what it would look like. But if the only reason for us not approving this would be because we want to look at the material, and given the dire straits of the roof, I would hate to push things back another month to have them come back to another meeting. You know, perhaps an alternative could be, if we were going to approve it, if we like the materials, we could just state that as a stipulation that we would approve it, subject to approval of the material once we saw it. Then that could be done sooner than the next meeting.
I think we've done something similar to that in the lights on 428, where we wanted a couple of the members to just double check and look at that. So that's certainly
Right.
something we've done before.
I think so.
Do we
Makes
want,
sense to me.
do people, just the commission feel comfortable giving 2 or 3 of us this rubber stamp, I guess, if we like
Yeah.
the material? At
Yeah,
least have it look at it so we could fast track this.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
You and Jake are just down the street, so.
all right,
so,
all right.
Mm.
I don't know if we have to take action. Okay, I'm sorry. Any further discussion then? Hearing none, I'm gonna rule of order over there. Greg Farlow, maybe he knows, but I don't know if we have to, can we amend our motion? Just to put that stipulation in, or do we have to vote on it? And then let's amend the motion. If I'll entertain an amendment to this motion for what we've been discussing here.
So the motion would read,
In a sentence.
Yeah.
Our full motion, our motion right now was to accept the COA
Yeah.
as presented and as written and presented.
as presented. So I could amend it, Tim. So I propose that we accept the application as presented, subject to authorized members of the commission viewing the materials to be used prior to implementation, something like that.
Do I have, that sounds good. Do I have a second on that?
I second that.
Greg, we'll keep the same thing. Nancy's motion, Greg second on that. Hopefully, Catherine, did you get the gist of all that and you're all set?
Yeah, she's good. Thank
All
you,
right.
Nancy.
Excellent.
Sure.
Last Nichols here for discussion on this.
Sounds good.
I just wanted to say thank you for giving a great COA. I mean, great pictures, great descriptors. We don't see them that good that often. So thank you
We
for
do
doing
not.
that.
No, we do not. So, all right, then I will take a roll call here. Gary Gregg.
I
Here.
vote yes.
at least that one.
All right, that one. Yes, Greg Farlow. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Jake,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Regan,
No,
Dane,
Yes.
and I think it's just me, and I say aye. So a vote of whatever that was, Catherine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-1.
6-1. This passes, and I will, it was kind of open-ended of what the committee would be that would be looking at the material here. We certainly want to, Regan, you had mentioned that there was examples of the cedar, obviously, and if we can get a example of these asphalt fiberglass cedar shake replicas, then I will take action. I don't know, does anyone else want to raise a hand and say they want to be part of the viewing?
Me.
I see Regan,
By extension, I'll be there too.
Yeah, I'll
Go,
take a look at it.
Regan, Dane, myself.
I'll
Anyone
take a
else?
look too. Yeah.
Have you
I'll be here
considered
for it.
metal?
No,
All right,
Greg.
we're past this, all right, so
Okay.
so who I heard a couple others, so I will try to set something up with you guys to get a example of that, and then make the rounds with our commission, and we'll and so right now, what you will get tomorrow then would be the stipulation for the motion here. It's not approved quite yet, and after we get the chance to review. All right,
Yes.
excellent. We will move on. So thank you. It was Tyler, right? Tyler and
Carrie
Uh,
Booth.
yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That leads us to COA 542. This is 385 Washington Street. They would come up previously. They had come up previously in the last, I think, month and had work done, if you recall, on the burner system, their furnace, and redirecting some of the output of that. But again, this is just for apparently roof work on the barn, and I suppose we could say, and administratively approving the work that was already done, and for the flashing, whether we recognize that or not. It was, I say, it gets swept under the rug because we didn't have it as part of the COA. So I will entertain a motion for COA 542.
I move we approve the application as presented.
Motion by Nancy, second by Greg Johnson. And I'll open it up for discussion.
I think they're presenting it as like for like.
Correct.
I think I
Correct.
heard that, so it would seem appropriate in view of that, I would think. I know it's already been done,
Yeah.
but it
That
is
was
what
a
it is, I
surprise to
guess.
me. It was a surprise to me, considering I think the last emails that came were it made it sound like it was immediate. So I wasn't aware that it was already done, but at this point it's an administrative thing. But you're correct, it was like for like, it was same color for same color. So
Okay, yeah, so seem appropriate.
discussions?
I think the only thing I would say is just to make sure that the applicants know in the future that any changes to the exterior,
Right.
including chimney flashings, need to come before the commission.
I will add that to any the action and the documentation after the fact tomorrow here. So I agree, because they were beforehand for the other work, they were right on top of it and presenting that. So I'm sure they would have thought they would know on that one. All right.
So
Any
can I
other-
just clarify for a second?
Yep.
What exactly are we approving? If it's already done, what are we approving?
I'm guessing, and I know James is still on, but what my understanding from the presentation was they still had not gotten a permit pulled for this. So I don't know if they need that for any legalistic or administrative stuff with the city still. But it did
Okay.
address apparently, you know, we don't want these buildings going into further repair, so I'm sure it was done to address any of the weather that we were getting here.
Got it.
Jake,
just
I
wanted to
think we're-
clarify.
we're approving the installation of the roof.
Yeah.
But it's already been installed, right?
No,
Yes, we're
This
sort
is
of
not the-
back approving it.
This is not the first time that we voted on things that have been
Yeah.
already.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I understand that.
We
Okay.
may not like it, but it was done, so this is our administrative, making.
Just
sure
wanted to
that-
clarify.
Yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll. Greg Farlow.
Aye.
Greg Gary,
I,
Jake,
Aye.
Nancy,
aye.
Regan,
I,
Dane,
Yes.
and I say aye, passes unanimously. I will send a letter out for tomorrow to Linda and all the addresses that we had, and I will make note that as Regan said, it's important that we don't do these as administrative after the fact. So,
Right.
all right.
Okay.
Leads us to approval of minutes. This is from our January 17th minutes. So hopefully everyone had a chance to read those. I will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes. And,
oh,
and I hear Greg Farlow.
yeah, I read them.
um, and he's making a motion to approve them, and I entertain do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Nancy. Does anyone have any changes or amendments they need to make to the, of course
My
not.
name was spelled correctly.
What is it?
My name was spelled correctly.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
That's all that matters.
All right.
To him, it is, yep.
All right, so hearing no other discussion or changes, Greg Farlow? Yeah,
Yes,
Greg Johnson,
Greg Johnson, who's doing it?
Jake,
Oh,
Aye.
Nancy,
Yes.
Regan,
I,
Dane, whose name was spelled correctly,
Yes.
and I say yes. So Catherine, please do your magic and get rid of the draft and the naming convention and pass that on to the city clerk. Excellent. Next we have chairman's report. And these all blend together for me. Have not heard back anything from our budget submission from Deanna or the city, but I don't expect that they would address that for this future budget yet. So I don't have anything to say on that. We did get our legal notice in 10808 on our against our budget from this past year. So that seems to be consistent, and I think we've worked out a pretty easy way of submitting our legal notices. Again, we're pointing them back to the city's webpage to find the actual COAs to look at. All I'm saying in the legal notice is that there will be a meeting on this date. Please go here to see the details. So that seems to work it for us, and the cost benefit. We had discussed earlier also about software. Maybe I know I had discussed it, and I talked to the IT department, and they seem willing. They pointed out the cost of some of the software for some of the commission members. I know Catherine and I end up doing a lot of document updates, and we don't have the Adobe Pro or any of some of these other ones here. Software. So IT department had identified PDF Gear for obviously PDF updates, and I downloaded it, worked with it. It works fine. So I have that installed on my machine. So anyone considering that, it's a freebie. One of the ones that he had mentioned, and I'm not sure if it was included to everyone. So one of them was a paid app, and I went away from that. But PDF Gear is free and it works fine. And then for any of the Microsoft, whether it's PowerPoint or Word, or for Word and even the Excel stuff, it's Libre Office, Libre Office, and I tested that out, and that seemed to work well also. So I'm going with what the IT is proposing, and if things don't work, then I guess I have someone to point to for that. So at any rate, and so I'll consider this in the chairman's report. We did have an inquiry, kind of a to be determined inquiry into, hey, I've got a historic property and I know I'm going to have some work on it. And of course, it went through the Norwich Historical Society. So Regan gets to triage all of these before, and she responded. But this is from Darcy Withers, and it didn't say what the property was, but I anticipate maybe that we will get something back. But thank you, Regan, for passing on any of that documentation or links to her so she can get prepared. Recently, and this is right before the closeout for the meetings, we did get some other inquiries. 78 Town Street, which is the McDonald's building. The city was not giving them a permit for some of the work that they wanted to do. As we were looking at that, it's not in our Norwich Town district, it's in the village district, I believe. And so it's not under our jurisdiction. So I had given this contractor that information, and I forwarded the email on to Alba and the building department so they can hopefully provide any permits that these people need in order to do their work on the McDonald's.
But what are they planning on doing? Did it say?
Some of it was, I thought, internal, so I wasn't even sure what we would actually see outside. But I just know that
Model.
I'm not sure if I have
Change
any.
it to an Arby's.
Yeah.
Interesting, because this never came up. They redid the whole outside arrangement a couple of years ago, the whole new drive-through, and changed the lanes and everything.
The city didn't stop them and say you had to get that approved from us. So it's a hit or miss, maybe. So I'm glad that they looked at that and said, well, it's very close, so we'll hold off on it. And even though we don't have the jurisdiction, I'd like to make sure that we at least get some sort of look into that. So at any rate, they're free to.
It does fall within the historic overlay, though.
Yes.
That was added a couple years ago.
Mhm.
Which has some restrictions on things like signage and whatnot.
Well, I know next door for the realtor, we had discussed the signage there, but that my understanding, 78 Town Street was not in it. So
It's not in the historic district, but it's in that overlay that was added that covers all of Town Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so 78 Town Street is in the village overlay district, and that's something that the city takes care of administratively. It doesn't necessarily fall under the Historic District Commission's purview.
Yeah. Okay. And so again, that email went out. The other one that came in, of course, emergency 171 Broadway. Apparently it's a 4-unit property. They were looking to expedite and try to replace their heating units that were failing into getting some splits installed. Don't know if that means 4 of the those splits that we had approved before over in the town green behind the church recently, and I know I was behind the silversmith shop, but they're looking to, because it's winter and it's cold, to to try to expedite that. And I said, well, we can't expedite anything until we have something that you're going to present to us. And I haven't gotten anything back from them. So my approach here is hopefully hope for good weather, I guess, a little bit of good weather, but we would address this if they get something in the next meeting, the March meeting. And I don't know where the position of these things are or anything like that. I gave them the link to the guidelines and told them anything in the public from public view would need our approval. So I think we await for that, something from there, from them before we have to do anything. But I just wanted to mention it because this was something that came in. Don't know how anyone else feels about this, or if they say, well, I'm sitting down here in nice warm weather. I don't know if it's cold up there. And you guys are saying, well, hey, you're heartless, Mr. Dowen, and you should see if maybe we could expedite something for them. But I don't know how anyone else feels about this.
Are they saying they have no heat unless they install these splits?
No, I think they said, in fact, that they didn't think it would last that long, whatever they're had tried to jury rig, I guess, for the heating. That was my take from the email that I got. So I do believe they have heat, although the heat has gone out in the past. I don't know, whatever is gotten them to say they need to change something, and they've mentioned that it's whoever their tenants are have been going to the public health department and the police, apparently, who are addressing heating disputes, I guess, at some of these apartments. I don't know. So so they were, I think, now at a situation where whatever they've done, I don't know if they anticipate it'll kick off again, and their tenants are going to be angry at them. But
We just have to wait and see him.
I think we wait and hear from that, and we won't try to expedite anything. I don't think I would call any special meeting just to address this. The last time we had something that was emergency, it was for the church, and it had to be done yesterday. And even after we had approved some of the stuff, I don't think the work had started in the time that it could have gone to the next meeting. So we will await something for 171 Broadway.
Yeah, I would suspect that if they were expeditious in getting a plan and getting a contractor and then bringing it to us, they would still have to be waiting for the contractor to have time to install it until after our meeting anyway.
Yeah. All right. So that's just to keep you guys informed. And one last thing, I did get something from Deanna Rhodes. It's for the plan of conservation and development, the plan implementation committee. She sent it out to about 22 different addresses, email addresses. My personal email ended up on that, but she's basically, I guess it's a monthly meeting, and she's looking for, I guess, representation, and must think of me as, instead of sending it to HDC, it must have sent it to me. So there's a link in there to get up to speed on what they're planning, what they're doing. I forwarded that on just before this meeting to our HDC mailbox. If you guys are interested, I'll also send that out. But apparently I'm sorry, go ahead, Regan.
I was gonna say, she sends it to all of the commission chairs, and I already attend on behalf of the Historical Society, and usually I wear two hats when I go to those meetings anyway. So if you don't want another meeting to attend, Tim, I already go, so I can wear my HDC and NHS hat. So
Excellent. So as long as no one has any issues with that, thank you, Regan, for taking that under your busy schedule here. So excellent. All right. And lastly, you should see COA Rev 3 our update in a draft form. And I did not get anything else or see anything else on that, any updates that were required. So I'm going to take this as this will be our new COA, our application. And I will take action to get that to the IT department. So our link will point to this document. I'll take care of it, Catherine, of getting rid of the draft portion of it and putting it in the right file name, I guess, whatever we need to pass it on to Mr. LaRose, I think. Thanks everyone for their inputs. I'm sorry, Greg
I
Johnson.
thought it looks great. I don't, did Regan put that together? Is that,
Yes,
if
I
so, thanks, Regan.
took feedback from everybody from last meeting and in subsequent emails and put this together. I had Michael Driscoll, the city attorney, look it over and he thought it looked good too. So if everyone's happy with it, we should be good to go and can finalize it and put it on the website.
Yeah,
Nice
looks
job.
good. Right, the only, I would offer maybe a very minor suggestion is, make the line, the blank for the phone number smaller and make the blank for the email longer, just because the email is usually longer than the phone number.
Sure.
All right. There'll be a Rev 4, then we will make that change for email address line longer than phone address line. Excellent. All right.
So is IT gonna make that into like a web fillable form for people or?
I don't want to push our luck. We'll at least get the pared down version here and get that one online. And then we'll work toward that. Although I noticed it has been a PDF. This was actually a docx, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, I had just done it as a Word document in case it still needed to be edited, but now that it's final, we can make it a PDF.
We want to make it a PDF. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's my action item, to make those minor changes and get it to a PDF and get it to IT. So hopefully we shall see the new format in the coming future.
It looks really good. Thank you very much, Reagan.
You're welcome, Nancy.
Mhm.
All right. Leaving old business, unless anyone can remember any old business, I didn't have anything else. I don't have any new business necessarily. Does anyone have anything to, hearing nothing? Our next meeting will be March, help me out,
20th, March 20th.
March 20th. Hybrid meeting. Everyone's still good with hybrid meetings?
Yes.
Excellent. So we
Like 'em.
will continue doing a hybrid meeting on March 20th. And I will,
Okay.
whatever comes about with the intermediate review of the roofing stuff. Oh, Lord, damn it all. Excuse my French. Now I'm thinking, I know we want to address this, and here I am sitting down in Florida and I forgot that. And I was going to take the action of this.
And
Oh,
Jane and I and Jake could handle it.
All right. If you do get any picture, any specs or anything like that, if you wanted to post that out to the email, I can look at that from there. But I would say then go forth with what you guys are looking at. I trust your opinion on approval of material. So I forgot all about that. Loading my whiteboard. Is everyone else seeing that?
They do, yeah.
Fancy.
That's something Greg Farlow's is doing. I saw him loading it, something he did. All right. He was either going to draw a picture for us, but I'm not sure. But I will take a what is it?
Motion to
A
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. That's what I'm.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
hi.
Hi.
Opposed? Hearing none. I call the meeting at 6:35. Thanks, everyone.